really working on. Thank you.
Okay, this falls right into the next infraction, partial compliance with GITMIS usage. And Honorable Shirley, Chair will take that one.
Thank you, Chair. So, as Chair indicated, there are some covered entities that are not fully compliant with the GITMIS system. And we know what this does is to increase the risk of material misstatements and also undermine efforts to promote accountability, transparency, and effective public financial management system. Why are some covered entities not complying fully? Can you educate the committee on this?
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, covered entities subsiding on GOG funding are on GITMIS. I mean, those who receive releases from Ministry of Finance for their payments are all on GITMIS. The gap is the other funding source, which is the donor, the statutory funds, and the IGF. These are the institutions which are not on GITMIS. And as Honorable Minister said, the Budget Committee actually requested for a list of institutions that are not on GITMIS. That information was given. I think they started inviting those institutions. But what we want to do as controller is that we realize that it's very convenient for the covered entities not to use GITMIS because they are able to refer their payments even outside GITMIS. And we've started a program. We want to do it. We are going to gradually withdraw the manual checks in the system. So gradually we'll withdraw the manual checks, and that will compel them to use the GITMIS. If you process and you can't effect payment, then of course you'll be compelled to use GITMIS. And that is what we have discussed with Minister of Finance. We have their support. They are even saying that if there's any payment that is outside GITMIS at the Ministry of Finance, we should start with them. So we are going to come out with a program. We've had discussion with GIPS, which is Ghana Interpayment and Settlement System, to use the EFT with the commercial banks. We are going to sign a service level agreement with them, with the commercial banks as well. So we'll do it. We are going to do that. And they'll be forced, they'll be compelled to use GITMIS. It's something that we are going to do. Thank you.
So these are promises that I look forward to you fulfilling, but how soon can we expect you to do this?
We did a pilot, and I think one that is it Ablukuma South Municipal Assembly. Currently, they are using the EFT and it's working. We want to build on that, and then, as I said, that to be done gradually. We want to identify all the manual checks in the system. We set up a committee with our Controller Accountant General, Bank of Ghana. We'll identify them, and then we'll take it from there. We also don't want to create inconvenience for the covered entities, because if you have done the manual checks, then you should make sure that the GITMIS system and then the processes are also working very well. So it will take time, but we are looking at the end of the year. We will have withdrawn a lot of the manual checks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, in addition to this, in fact, we want to give the covered entities that are not operating fully using the GITMIS, especially those using their IGFs. They are the main culprits now. We want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And so, as a follow-up to the parliamentary engagements with them, we have invited them to meet with the Ministry of Finance and Controller and Accountant General's Department. We want to give them, to agree with them on some timelines. Because, as the controller said, after a certain time within this year, you will not be able to spend your money if you are not operating within the GITMIS system. And because we are government, we also don't want government services to suffer, the citizenry to suffer in accessing some of these services. So we want to be fair to everybody. But very soon we will announce the timelines, and after which time manual checks cannot be issued unless you operate within the system. And so I'm sure we can share those timelines with you after we have extensively engaged them next week over the timelines that we'll agree with them. Thank you.
All right, the next infraction is on paragraph 53, inadequate disclosure of significant investment and disinvestment. And Honorable Enim will take care of that one.
Thank you, Chair. So, Chair, this has to do with inadequate disclosure of significant investments and disinvestments. So the auditors noted that controller recognized disinvestments in public institutions amounting to 10,296,229,559 Ghana cedis, and new investments totaling 19,247,229,144, as presented in Schedule 4. I would want the controller to run the committee through the processes involved in recognizing investments and disinvestment, and also the role of independent valuers, internal audit, and external auditors.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director for National Accounts will handle this one.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. First, the process of handling or accounting for investment and disinvestment. Well, investment in its simple terms, when these entities put money somewhere expecting to get something out of it, is the investment. So if within the reporting period they've done something new, it's an addition, as indicated by the auditors. And if they decide to withdraw or, how do we call it, end the investment by taking back their money, it's a disinvestment. So I refer you to page 455 of the report. That's where you find those details. Now, what auditors are raising again is a standard, it's a requirement by the IPSAS. And let me indicate that, controller, we are not directly involved in doing this investment and disinvestment. What we do is to aggregate what the entities have done. So sometimes it becomes very difficult to know specific reasoning, timing behind this investment at the accounting stage. But what we want to do is to really get these entities to know this IPSAS requirement as raised by auditors, that in their books, they should provide adequate disclosure to clarify what is accounting for additional investment in their books and what is accounting for disinvestment in their books. So when we are doing consolidation, to the extent possible, we can give a summary, a highlight as a matter of disclosure on this. This is what we've not done, and auditors are raising it, and we thought it's appropriate. But one challenge and one other thing we'd like to draw audit and the committee's attention is that the national account, the whole of government account, is a consolidated account. And it's not every information that we can put in. And if you go to page, Schedule 4, page 455, we are talking about over 300 entities. So is it the case that each of the entities we have consolidated, we have to explain the purpose, the nature, the transaction, asset involved, date, amount, and method of acquisition, financial impact, gains, losses, valuation, any ongoing commitment, risk, and benefit, alignment with government policy and strategic objectives? We are just wondering how we'll be able to capture all these things in the national account. Already, these documents...
I think that I would want to come in here.
Thank you.
This is a consolidated account.
That's correct.
And IPSAS is clear on disclosures. So irrespective of the number of covered entities, there is no excuse. So please, if it would take three booklets to get these disclosures done, I think you should follow that.
No problem.
Yes. And we are here to peruse whatever documentation you provide. So for us, that is no excuse. The auditors recommended that you should enhance instructions to reporting entities. What have you done about it so far?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, we have really developed a comprehensive manual templates and tools to guide all covered entities, and that has been acknowledged by the auditors. I humbly refer you to page 12 of the Auditor General's report. And yes, page 12 of the Auditor General's report. Compliance with international public accounting standards. And I humbly read paragraph 62. The Controller and Accountant General adopted the international public sector accounting standards accruals in the preparation of the 2024 whole of government account. the Controller and Accountant General developed and listed tools to enhance compliance with the IPSAS. With IPSAS, the accrual basis of accounting and reporting at the national and entity level for use by covered entities. So the tools have been mentioned: accruals reporting template, IPSAS accruals accounting policy, IPSAS compliance shadow account, IPSAS compliance checklist, training manual, and asset register. This is the statement. This was to achieve transparency, accountability, and fair presentation of the whole of government account. And this is the statement from the Auditor General. I must commend the Controller and Accountant General and his team for this achievement. So this has been done. What is needed is the entities to utilize them, and we are helping them. They need a lot of training to be able to utilize it. Thank you very much.
How would you ensure that going forward, now you have provided all the things that you have done, but in terms of evidence, do we have evidence that these covered entities have received these instructions? Because you would say it, and it's another thing, them receiving these instructions. Yeah. So do we have evidence to support that all covered entities have been given these instructions as to how to make disclosures going forward so we do not get into these problems?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Yes, we have evidence. These documents were launched at 2024 Annual Conference of Controller and Accountant General. And as I speak, they are all on the Controller's website for all entities to download and use. We've also administered training for over 1,200 public sector accountants. We have the list of all the trainees available and their entities. We can make it available if requested. Thank you.
Since we have the auditors here, auditors, are you satisfied with these explanations?
Honorable Chair, yes, we are satisfied with the explanation given.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Controller. You are discharged.
No, I have a few questions.
Hold on, please.
Unfortunately, Mr. Chairperson, I need 2 more minutes to ask.
Yeah, the former Minister for Finance.
Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance.
Yes, she wants to ask you questions.
Yes,
when she was there.
I'm looking at the actual accounts on page 43, and I see biological assets. And you're saying it includes agricultural bits. I just want to find out, how do you assess biological assets? The amount I see there is, to me, a bit on the low side, based on the definition you gave. The notes is 55B, but the actual is 43, page 43 on the accounts.
Yes. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. This is another benefit of IPSAS. Biological assets technically are those assets of natural character. Animals we have, and those things that we are holding that are biological in nature, and they are not being held for the intention of selling them. When you have a farm, when you have cows, pigs in the farm, if they are not there for resale, they are there to produce, like University of Ghana having a farm. These are biological assets. We have to find a way of valuing them and accounting for them in our balance sheets. It's a highly technical area we are looking at now. So it's good you've spotted this, Honorable Chair. We are engaging Ministry of Agric and identifying institutions that have any engagements in the form of agric or related matters. Then we find a very suitable way of identifying this and valuing them. There are some technical complications, but IPSAS is a requirement of IPSAS, and we have to work to achieve it. The figure you've seen here is an indication that we have started something. So we'll build on it in the subsequent account, hopefully. Thank you.
Also, I looked at page, is it 588, the grants bit. And for certain countries that I know, they are usual development partners who, in one way or the other, bring in something. I don't see any figure there. I just want to find out from you why it is so.
Yes, that's true. Page 588, the grant schedule, we did not have any inflow from these development partners for 2024. And this, we collate this data from Ministry of Finance, the entities, and our Public Debt and Investment Directorate. Once there's no figure here, we still have them in our books, but within the reporting year, we did not receive any inflow from them. That would be the reason.
That's not possible for Japan, for Germany, for France, for Netherlands.
Yes. I don't know.
So, Ministry of Finance, maybe the right division should collaborate with the Controller Accountant General and help us get input for some of these grants, because I know that these countries, in one way or the other, contribute something. It can be nil. I know we are in the process of making sure we implement fully the IPSAS, but we should also take steps to ensure that any entity that is supposed to give you the right information does that, so that at the end of it, you give us a very comprehensive view of government assets and liabilities. And then finally, last week, Friday, we met Ghana Education Service, Ministry of Education, and consistently, every district that was cited for one infraction or the other had to do with overpayment and unearned salaries, and there was a third one. And payment of responsibility allowance to those not deserving of them. And for some of the districts, they maintained that they sent letters to Controller and Accountant General to halt these payments. Some said they have done that for a year. Others said they had done that for some months. And Controller and Accountant General has still not been able, has not stopped these payments. Controller, we want to find out from you that clearly, if there's evidence to that effect that they have actually written to your end, they have done everything that they need to do, and your people, as in Controller, has not done the needful, we will speak to the Auditor General and leadership and apply the necessary sanctions, because it is becoming too many. Some genuinely tell you, we sent the letters, we have proof, we have done this, we have done that. On Friday, it wasn't a pleasant situation at all. Consistently, we had more than 50 districts being cited for the same issue. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On Friday in the evening, I watched a bit of it on YouTube, and that was around 6 p.m. And I even sent a message to the Director General, Professor Davis, on the same issue. And that very evening, I called Mr. Mark Ilo that I wanted a copy of the audit report. And he has promised that this week I will get it. My issue is we shouldn't just end at recovery, because we realized that we were happy when they said recovered, and then we take, recovered, then we take. We should go beyond recovery. Who actually did it? If it is Controller, the inputs. So the audit report will definitely indicate the recipients and their staff ID, if that should be in the audit report. So I want that report. We are working in collaboration with other security agencies, OSP, because if somebody did it, definitely, we are using an Oracle system. There's an audit trail. We can go into the system and then know, identify who actually on that particular day process their allowances. It's something very easy that we can do. So what I'm saying is that once we get that, we should just extra patience, and then definitely with the investigation, those culpable will actually be brought to book. Because it's not a comfortable thing for me as well, because payroll issues has become something that almost every day I hear those issues. But on the issue of they written to us, Madam Chair, the processes that the letters go through, they don't come direct to Controller. They write, if from the district, it goes to the region, it comes to headquarters before it comes to Controller. So maybe we also have to investigate to find out that did the letters actually get to Controller. There are situations where the district will write, it comes to the head office or even the region for about 6 months. So we also need to, that is what we want to meet GES and then Ghana Health Service to look at our operations and their operations as well. And I remember I said this, we'll have a client service charter. We can revisit that and then agree on timelines. If there's a letter from a district to a region, how long should it be in the region before it comes to the head office? We should look at that. And then people keep on saying, we send the letter to controller, and for 1 year we haven't received the letter. And then you go to the district or region and you realize that the letter is still there. So we'll collaborate with them, and then they'll give us timelines, and this issue will be resolved. But for the audit report, I have requested for it, and we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Controller. But I think that in order to expedite some of these things, you should give them, in this day of modern technology, give them 2 or 3 emails that once they send to from the district to the region should, so that there will be a paper trail. Sending emails is faster and more efficient than writing letters. And if you engage the heads of institutions, that moving forward, this is how you want to go about it. In addition to the letters coming to you, it will go a long way to solve some of these problems.
Madam Chair, thank you. It's one of the issues we want to discuss. What we want to do is that if it had to do with inputting, then we'll still expect that the hard copies will go through the region to the head office and then come to us. But if you had to do with stoppage, then of course, as you're saying, we can even start with the email. So once we receive the email...
But Controller, yes, in sending the email, they need to attach the relevant documents.
Yes, they will attach the relevant documents.
So if they attach the relevant documents, it's the same thing there.
No, it's the same thing, but as I said, if you have to do with inputting,
yes,
a new allowance or a new entrant, for that, it still has to go through that process. But for us to protect the public purse, what I'm saying that if we have to do with the stoppage of unwarranted allowance, then of course the email with the relevant documents, when it comes to us, we can stop the salary or whatever it is, whilst waiting for the original from the head office, so that we don't continue to pay unearned salaries to the recipient. That's what I'm saying. So.
And then finally, why is it that when sometimes mistakenly somebody's name is taken off the payroll, it takes forever? Controller, it takes forever for the person to be put back on it. Sometimes it's a genuine mistake from the validators. And sometimes too, it is a way of some of the heads showing teachers where the power lies. Exactly. And it's very, very painful. Since Friday, we've had a lot of these reports. It's very painful that genuinely, your name is taken off the payroll for one reason or the other. You have to go to controller, sometimes 8 good months, and you still haven't been reinstated. Meanwhile, you are there working, and for one reason or the other, you are being validated. How do we cure this?
Thank you, Madam Chair. If you have to do with the validators, of course, they validate. They are in the district, they are in their offices, and they will determine that this number of people deserve to be paid. So if for one reason or the other, they don't validate you, then it's the same process. It's the same validators and institutions that have to go through the process to validate you for us to pay you. We cannot, as controller, pay you if the validators haven't validated you. So these are some of the challenges that
when they bring proof to you that it was wrongly done, and so you have to reinstate the person. That's what I'm talking about. There are some people who vacate posts and they deserve to be taken off. But those who, for one reason or the other, are genuinely taken off, the validators will tell you they have done the right thing. They have sent the documentation and everything to controller. Sometimes they even show you evidence that this is what they have done. And the beneficiaries come all the way from the various places to come and sit in controller and see, who do I know to help me do this, help me do that. So let's not just explain it away. There are genuine reasons and genuine concerns. I think maybe you should have a desk dedicated specifically for these things, because sometimes when you hear their stories, controller, it's not too good.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a desk, we have a client service who deals with the payroll issues. And I think I remember I mentioned this somewhere that they come direct to the client service, and then their issues are resolved. Those can be issues. The issue is that some of them, some of the issues could have even been resolved at the district level. But we don't understand why people still want to see somebody to resolve their issues for them. We think they are genuine concerns, you've gone through the process, and they will be resolved. We'll see to that. But please, I want the Director of Payroll is here, and I want her to also practically tell us what happens. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Regarding the issue of responsibility allowance, normally when an officer of an institution is given additional responsibility, it's the institution that need to go through the normal processes to get that done. Now, for example, if in a school, a teacher is given additional responsibility of a guidance and counseling coordinator, it is the institution that need to go through the processes for approval. And they are the ones, the personnel processing sections, they are required to capture this data on the payroll system. For example, if the officer was Assistant Director 1, 19, with the responsibility, it would be Assistant Director 19H if it was 19L. So you don't find it as a line item on the pay slip. It's just the change in job. So it's an institution that is supposed to capture this data on the payroll system and then inform controller. When, again, that responsibility is taken away from that officer, it's the institution, again, that is required to also change the job again to reflect the current job of the officer. Until that is done by the institution at the personnel processing section level, controller cannot do anything about it. We do not actually capture data regarding
Madam,
these issues.
In my submission, I said that once they identify and they claim, they bring it to controller, they don't act on it. So I'm not asking controller to go to the institution and check, but they are saying that once they are normally seen, they write letters to controller and they expect controller to do the needful. That was what they said on Friday.
Yeah.
So my issue is, why does it take so long? And the Controller and Accountant General explained that sometimes the processes through which these letters are brought to the attention of controller is the issue. And so we mentioned the fact that we should come up with some emails or some quickened way of addressing these things. So I get that very well. But my issue is, as soon as it is brought to your attention, do the needful to make sure these names are off, or those who are receiving allowances that they are not supposed to receive, go off. That's all I want to put across.
Honorable, the example I gave is that if they do not take action at their own level and they bring the letters alone, we cannot do anything about it. That is just the message I was trying to carry forward. But as soon as the
action without, they can't write a letter without taking action. Nobody does that.
Sometimes the letters can come to us without them taking action at their level. So most of the time we have to refer these documents back to their institutions.
Madam, these are
to take
administrative issues that you can check
on them.
So we ask that you check these things. The most important thing is that people are paid for what they have worked for.
Yeah.
Those who are not supposed to earn certain allowances shouldn't be put on those ones. So work with Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education to see how best we can rectify this. That's all we are saying. Nothing more, nothing less.
All right. Thank you.
Madam Chair, thank you. But I just want to add that we need cooperation from the general public, because sometimes the investigators find it very difficult to get to the bottom of it because people are not ready to cooperate. So if you're a teacher and someone has taken money from you, you ask who has taken money from you, and they find it very difficult to come out. No, just let us know. Pardon? let us know, we should cooperate. Because of the information that we are getting from the investigators, that these are sometimes they start an investigation and get somewhere and they get stuck because they are not forthcoming with information for them to actually arrest the culprits. So please, if you're a teacher and someone has taken money from you, we are not going to mention your name. You just come out. We will have a way of doing it just so that we know those who are involved. If the controller staff, we will not show that person.
Controller.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. What we'll do is, on some of our sittings, we'll invite you to come and sit down and hear for yourself what is going on. And then you try to help us resolve these issues. When you have one institution that has unearned income of 270,000, one institution, then you ask yourself what is going on. And that's what the country is watching. They are watching you and I live.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Chairman.
wanted to...
Mr. Chairman, respectfully.
Controller, you said they should tell you, they should come out. How do they do that? I mean, we are on national television. How do they come to you? There should be a means. There should be a system where, let's say, a telephone line or an email where they are sending you an email. I mean, let the public know. We are live on TV.
We are coming out by next week. All the regions will advertise their telephone numbers, and then the head office as well will do that, and then the emails as well. We've started the process. So all the 16 regions will advertise in their dailies for every. If you have issues, you don't even have to travel to Accra. Just call the number. If you're in the Eastern region, you go to the regional director's office there, and they will have it. If they cannot, then they'll escalate you to the head office. So we'll advertise the telephone numbers for all the 16 regions. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you and to say that the genuine concerns of people who wait several months before being put back on the payroll, that it is some reports that we have been made aware of. And I want to add also that we've come across some allegations of payroll-related fraud issues that we have asked the investigation agencies to investigate. Fortunately, because these things are done on the system, it is even possible for us to see who activated somebody, who deactivated the person, and all that. There was one that went viral recently about someone who complained that I think a teacher or so, name was taken off the payroll. Somebody assisted him to get it on, and the person was demanding a lot of money from him. Because he did not pay, they went ahead and removed his name from the payroll. We have taken serious view of this, and it is being investigated. Fortunately, controller knows the person in the controller office who activated, who deactivated, but a lot more information need to come out for us to know what really went on and for the appropriate punishment to be meted out. And so the finance minister takes serious views to some of these things, and he's asked that we have an in-depth investigation into it. We will apprise the general public of whatever the outcome is. And as Controller said, the public should be free to come forth with any information that will help us nip this trend in the bud. But also, very, very important thing for us to realize is that before anybody is paid from any of, from GES, from Ghana Health Service, anywhere that is on the payroll, somebody has to validate that there is this person in the VRAJHS number 1 in Akosombo who is a teacher, and me, the head of the institution or whoever, I'm validating that the person has worked and must be paid. We are going to the extent of identifying validators and bringing them to book if they validate people who have not worked for a particular month. And so we must all be on guard and realize that everybody has a responsibility to protect the integrity of our payroll. Because the system where we clean the payroll and only for ghosts to re-enter the payroll and all that, I think must come to an end. And so thank you, Chairman. I think Controller is here. They must take this as an admonition for them to go and work efficiently to make sure that genuine people who for one reason or the other find their names off the payroll are brought on within the shortest possible time. I know that they will want to be cautious in putting people back on the payroll, but 6 months, 8 months cannot be an acceptable time frame. And so it is something that I think we need to take in good faith and all work together to clean. Thank you.
Minister, 1 minute. And the last thing has to do with the banks who received these monies. You know, sometimes when their attention are brought to some of these wrongful payments, they refuse to send it back. Last week, Friday, we had one from a rural bank, and the attention had been drawn to the fact that it was a wrongful payment, and yet still they were refusing to do the needful. So one of our colleagues here suggested that they speak to the Apex ARP, but since these banks are under you, under Ministry of Finance, we ask that you collaborate with them, and that once a notice is brought to their attention concerning this in a formal way, they need to do the needful. Because you can't have public funds sitting, government money sitting in your account, even when your attention has been drawn to the fact that these are monies that should go back to government coffers. So just to let you know of what happened on Friday and how Ministry of Finance can assist us in this regard. Thank you.
Controller, we have questions to ask your Central Region and Western Region office. Do you have somebody here to answer those questions? Or you are going to sit there and answer them?
One observation.
Two of them.
No. Are they two?
Okay. Honorable Jesso.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, so they were even asking me to humbly ask that you take that before they leave so they don't have to come back. Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, just sorry to take you back a bit. Please allow me to straighten some record. Madam Chair made an observation of grant schedule on page 588 of the report. I got a bit alarmed that we saw 00, and that's not a good incentive. However, if you go back a bit to page 586, the grant schedule has actually been categorized into two categories: grant in cash and grant in kind. So the grant in cash actually has some figures from the DPs and other organizations. Okay. And it is the grant in kind component that we are seeing 00 recorded.
Okay.
So that our development partners do not see us as not recognizing their grants. So the grant in cash is actually from page 586. And so you see African Development Bank has about 120 million, and the others are listed. It is when you come to the grant in kind that we don't have figures. Okay, I thank you very much.
Very much.
Okay, Controller, now we'll go to paragraph 186 of the ministries, departments, and other agencies. And it's untransferred unearned salaries by banks. Honorable Nancy AJ will take that one.
It's 186.
These are the evidence. We have retrieved them from pensions. So we use their committed pension to take it. One person paid his, the other one we have used their committed pension to take it off.
Oh, okay. So this one?
Yes.
So everything has been paid?
Paid.
Okay. Okay. How many were there? Two people?
They didn't mention
But one person,
I think about three or so.
we use what? His committed pension.
Committed pension. One person paid, then two. The rest we used committed pension.
Okay.
We deducted from their committed
Pension. Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Controller, this is Aguna West District, Central Region. On untransferred, unearned salaries by the banks, totaling 308,827 Ghana cedis. And the auditors noted that several letters were written by Controller and Accountant General between April 2023 to December 2023, instructing banks to transfer total unearned amount of 308,827.38 from the pensioners' individual accounts to government chests. These individuals were Emmanuel Otabel, David Kwabna Daakun, Frederick Howie, and Vincent K. Utu. The auditors recommended that the regional head of Controller and Accountant General should employ the use of court orders to recover the said amount with interest at the prevailing Bank of Ghana rate. Controller, I want to find out from you the steps taken so far and whether the said amount that belongs to all of us has been returned to chest. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. They've all been recovered, and we have the evidence here to show.
Auditors, please, can you confirm?
Honorable Chair, we are yet to be updated with the evidence that they have.
Controller, please, can you tender in the evidence?
Yes. Okay.
Chairman, please, the said amount has been recovered, so they've tendered in the evidence. Thank you.
Chairman, I don't know if the auditors will confirm, but the recommendation, they are yet to. Have you confirmed? Their recommendation is that it should be recovered with interest. So I'm even interested to know whether it was recovered with interest or just the amount.
The auditors said that they are yet to get a confirmation from Controller. So probably maybe, Controller, you heard what your boss just said?
Yes.
So please ensure that before it gets to the auditors, there has to be interest attached to whatever you are giving to the state.
Okay, thank you.
It's a fair instruction from your boss, not us.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you check it out.
Honorable, yes. 190 to 193.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. And the infraction is purchases of items for non-existent departments. And the auditors in the review of your books came across purchases made to the tune of 19,591 for the supply of office consumables on behalf of the Department of Rural Housing and also Parks and Gardens. However, by one Mr. Richmond Anson and Prince Nana Adey, the accountant and the director of budget of the division of RCC. But however, it was realized that these offices, these departments do not have designated offices physically in existence in the region. And this wasn't enough. And so the auditors recommended that you cannot purchase items for a non-existent office. And for that matter, Mr. Richard Anson and Prince Nana Adey should refund the amount of 19,591. So the regional director of Controller was mandated to recover this amount from them and also to ensure that the two offices are sanctioned per Section 96 of the PFM Act. Controller, can you tell us the status of this recommendation of the Auditor General?
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. First is about the non-existence of the office. I also have a document here proving that a staff was seconded from RCC to the Department of Rural Housing. So that is why I'm a bit challenged that if RCC has seconded an officer to the Department of Rural Housing, while the auditors are also saying that there's a non-existent department. There is a letter here to that effect written by the RCC. Anyway, but the monies have so far been recovered. But another issue that I have with the auditor's recommendation was that my information was that they said the items were not delivered. And then there is an SRA that I've cited that showed that the SRA was signed by the storekeeper initially, which were not signed by the internal auditor. So then, if that is true, why then say that the head of the department and the accountant should be held responsible and who be asked to refund the money? Because the storekeeper, if it is true that the items were not delivered, then I think the storekeeper should also be held responsible, because the SRA is a document that shows that you signed to indicate that the items have been delivered in the right quantity and in the right specification. So if the storekeeper signed and the internal auditor did not sign, then there is a problem. So if they have to refund, my issue is that then the storekeeper as well should also be asked to be partner. That is an issue that we want to discuss with the auditors in the region and then find out. But so far, the two gentlemen have refunded money to the state, and there's evidence here to show to that.
Controller,
Yes,
some of these things, I don't think you are being fair to the auditors. They come to the entity. If they had seen all those documentation, I don't think they would have this in their reports.
No.
So it is not the fault of the auditors that, oh, they were there, you've identified this, you identified that. Ask the people there whether during the exit conference they showed all those documents to the auditors. If they had done it, I don't think the auditors would have it here. Let's work with them to make sure we clear this.
No, Madam Chair, there are two issues. The first issue was the fact that they said there was a non-existent department of rural housing in the region. But I've also cited a letter from RCC seconding our staff to the department. That's why I was saying that we need to find out from them. But if there's a letter from the RCC seconding our staff...
At that time, your staff did not show proof of this. Yes.
Okay. Then, and my second issue about the fact that...
So, no, you lost that when the auditors were at your end. You should have explained all these things.
No, this didn't happen in the Western... No. So I got this information from my officer.
When I say you lost, I don't mean you in particular, but Controller and Accountant General in your capacity. Because the auditors came there, they sat with you. And so if for one reason or the other you have found documentation, the best thing to do is give it to the auditors, let them clear you, and then we close this infraction. And we move on. But we won't come and allow you to lecture the auditors on what to do and what not to do, respectfully.
But auditors, can you confirm or otherwise what the Controller and Accountant General is saying?
Honorable Chair, we are yet to be updated with the recovery as he has indicated.
Controller, up till now, the auditors don't have the information you have.
I even have, they sent it to me even on WhatsApp, because I called the regional director to make sure that it is done. And I gave them a hard copy to be given to them. Yes.
But Controller, excuse me.
Yeah.
You are not the auditor. The auditors were the ones who cited them.
Yeah.
So if they have that information, they should share with the auditors. Up to now, the auditors don't have copies of it.
I'm saying that. I made sure that the refund was effected, and then I asked the regional director to send me a copy of the pay-in slip. So they sent it to me on my WhatsApp last week, and then I gave it to, forwarded to our staff that he should run a copy and then give it to the auditors. So I made sure that it was done, and I have it here, yes.
So it goes to prove that your staff did not follow through it. That's what it is. If you have information, let's make sure that you...
Oh, okay. My information copy was sent to the original auditor.
All right.
But I have it here.
Auditors will follow up on it. Okay, Controller, you are discharged.
Thank you.
Now let's go Ministry of Finance. And all those who are going to answer questions, please stand up and let them swear you in if you haven't been sworn in yet.
Right. Proceedings from the Public Accounts Committee, which is looking into the audited accounts of ministries and agencies, as well as departments, as captured in the Auditor General's report. Appearing before the committee today was the Ministry of Finance and its agencies. Just gone by was the Controller and Accountant General's Department. We'll take a pause here from the Public Accounts Committee to bring you our first major news bulletin, news feed right here on Channel 1 TV. But after, we return to proceedings of the Public Accounts Committee. I am Nanatufo Boateng. Many thanks for your time. Keep watching Channel 1 TV.
Looking for a one-stop shopping destination for all things made in Ghana? Eager to experience a remarkable fair that showcases the richness, creativity, and innovation behind Ghanaian products and services? Then get ready for the This is Ghana Exhibition 2025. The This is Ghana Exhibition highlights the brilliance of Ghanaian entrepreneurs, artisans, and businesses who continue to shape the narrative of homegrown excellence. This is Ghana's biggest trade fair and exhibition, bringing together SMEs, startups, research and manufacturing sectors, indigenous corporate bodies, and local creatives in one exciting space. The This is Ghana Exhibition 2025